Standard ninth, chapter number 1, sets of algebra, practice set 1.4, question number 4. A survey was conducted to know the hobby of 220 students of class ninth, out of which 130 students informed about their hobby as rock climbing and 180 students informed about their hobby as sky watching. There are 110 students who follow both the hobbies. Then, how many students do not have any of these two hobbies? How many of them follow the hobby of rock climbing only? How many students follow the hobby of sky watching only? Solution. So first, in the question it is given that a survey was conducted to know the hobby of 220 students, right? So we know that total student, that means number of you, it is equal to 220. So out of which 130 students informed about the hobby as rock climbing, right? So let R be the set of students whose hobby is rock climbing, right? So therefore number of R, it is equal to 130. So next it is given 180 students informed about their hobby as sky watching. So let S be the set of students whose hobby is sky watching. Therefore number of S will be equal to 180. So there are 100 students who follow both the hobbies. Both the hobbies, that means number of R intersection S will be equal to 110, right? So now in the given question it is asked, then how many students do not have any of the two hobbies, right? So dear students, you have to understand here that there are some of the students who do not have any of these hobbies. Yes or no? I am repeating it again. Here there are some of the students who do not have any of these hobbies. So here we can write number of U, it is not equal to number of R union S. That means the students whose hobby is rock climbing and sky watching, if we union it, that will not be equal to total number of students. So students, we know the formula that number of R union S, it is equal to number of R plus number of S minus number of R intersection S, right? So we'll just put the value here, number of R union S, that means we don't know here, right? So we will write as it is, number of R union S. Number of R, rock climbing, it is how much? 130. And number of S, that is sky watching, it is 180. Minus number of R intersection S, that means hobbies, both the hobby students used to follow, it is 110. That means common, right? So now we will add 130 plus 180, it is equal to 8, 9, 10, 11, 1, 1, 2, 3, 310. Out of it, we have to subtract 110. That means 200. So, number of R union S, it is equal to 200. Right, students? Now, number of students who do not have any of these two hobbies. Right? So, here, number of R union S are those students whose hobbies are rock climbing or sky watching. Right? So, but what we need here is who do not have any of these hobbies. So, who do not have any of these hobbies, that is equal to number of R union S complement, right? And number of R union S complement formula will be number of U minus number of R union S. This is equal to number of U, that means total student is 220, right? And minus total students who have the hobbies of sky watching and rock climbing, it is 200. So after subtracting, we will get answer as 20. That means 20 students do not have any of these two hobbies. So next question, it is asked, how many of them follow the hobby of rock climbing only, right? So number of students who follow the hobby of rock climbing only, it is equal to number of R minus number of R intersection S. Okay students, so that means here total those who are having rock climbing as hobby, we need to subtract it with the intersection. That means those students who are having both the hobbies. So purely we will get rock climbing only, right? So number of R in the question, it is given that 130 students had the hobby of rock climbing. That means 130 minus, now intersection it is how much? There are 110 students, right? So minus 110, it is equal to 20 students, right? So that means we can write the answer as 20 students follow the hobby of rock climbing only. So next in the given question, it is asked, how many students follow the hobby of sky watching only? So in the similar manner, number of students who follow the hobby of sky watching only, it is equal to number of S minus number of R intersection S. So number of S, that means sky watching, how many students are having? That is 180 students, right? So 180 minus 110, it is equal to 70, right? 70 students.